Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us today to learn more about the Dell Scholars Program. We appreciate you taking the time to learn about this great opportunity. My name is Cindy Ayala, and I am part of our marketing team here at AVID. And I am joined by two fabulous co-hosts, Sonia Demps, who is the Manager of Operations and Engagement for Dell Scholars at the Michael and Susan Dell Foundation, and Harold Garcia, who is a current Dell Scholar and an AVID alum. We also have here AVID marketing team member Abby Dorsey, who will be supporting with the chat. Today, Sonia will be giving us an overview of the Dell Scholars Program, and you'll get to hear from Harold about his experience as a Dell Scholar. Toward the end of the webinar, we'll be hosting a Q&A session with Harold, so please be thinking of any questions you have and include them in the chat throughout the webinar. We will gather all the questions and address as many as we can during the Q&A portion, and we'll send out responses to any questions we didn't get to in an email following the webinar, as well as a link to the recording. Now, I'd like to invite Sonia to tell us more about the Dell Scholars Program. Sonia?
Thanks, Cindy. Hi, everyone. So excited to be here this morning. Thank you all for joining us. I know it's pretty early for some of us, so really appreciate you all taking the time out to join us this morning. So we'll go ahead and get started. As Cindy mentioned, I'm going to just give you all a quick overview of the Dell Scholars Program. So first and foremost, we always like to make sure that all of our applicants are aware that our scholarship is more than just money. It's a support system. We follow all of our students throughout their whole entire undergrad studies to make sure that they are successful in college. That's it. And so just to give you all a quick overview so that you have some background on the benefits that you would receive as a Dell Scholar. All of our Dell Scholars receive a $20,000 scholarship. In addition to the scholarship, you all are going to be receiving support from an academic standpoint, from financial, and for any emotional life changes that may prevent you from completing college. In addition to that, we also too will be providing you with a Dell laptop that has a 4-year warranty. Also to Chegg credits, and so Chegg is a book platform that higher education uses for books for college, and you all will be receiving a $500 book credit every year for the 4 years of your undergrad studies that you can use to purchase textbooks, to rent textbooks as well, and also for textbook solutions. In addition to that, you also too are going to have an option to use what we call a Scholar Resource Network. This is something that is open to yourself as well as all family members covered as part of your scholarship as well. And you also can use that for like debt management, managing childcare, life circumstances, as well as financial legal support. Anyone that you speak to at that organization is going to be licensed, so you always will be speaking to an expert. And last but not least, you also too will have an opportunity to benefit from teletherapy services. So we do partner with an organization called BetterHelp that connects our students to professional counseling. To be eligible for the Dell Scholarship, so that you all are aware of what the requirements are, you have to be a part of a approved college readiness program, your 11th and 12th grade year. And because you are part of AVID, you do qualify to benefit from our scholarship. Now, we do often get a lot of questions from individuals asking, hey, I was unable to attend all of 11th grade, or only attended part of 12th grade or so forth. If that is a situation that you're dealing with, reach out to your AVID counselor and have them get in touch with the Dell Scholars Program, and we can work with you directly to let you know if you're still eligible. You also do have to be on track to graduate and a high school senior and have at least a 2.4 GPA. You have to demonstrate financial need, and you have to be eligible for the Pell Grant. And so once you complete your FAFSA, you will receive your student aid report, which is referred to as a SAR, and that SAR is going to let you know if you're Pell eligible or not. If you have any questions around that, again, just reach out to your counselor and they can get in contact with our program to answer any questions that you have. Also, too, you have to plan to enroll into an accredited institution, and you have to be pursuing your bachelor's degree. So those are the main 5 points that are key in applying for our scholarship and being eligible for our scholarship. So who should apply? We often get questions from students asking us, like, what's the ideal candidate? What type of students apply for the Dell Scholarship? And just think of GPA. I think that's an easy way to think of it when as high school students and you're thinking of applying for college and GPA is on your mind on what schools you're going to be able to qualify, because we're looking for grit, potential, and ambition. So we like to use the acronym GPA. And so anyone who's overcome personal challenges, like within their families, their community, or their school, potential by attending and participating in a college readiness program and seeking out academic rigor. And so you all are part of the AVID program, which also, like I mentioned earlier, helps and is one part of the requirements for our program. And also that ambition, being prepared, preparing yourself for graduating with a college dream. So when you think of just like the ideal scholarship applicant, just think of GPA, that grit, that potential, and that ambition. So some important dates that I want to share with you all. As you all know, our application is already open. It opened on October the 1st. The deadline to complete the application is December the 1st. I would say if you have not started your application, or if you have not completed your application, as soon as this call is over, I would log in and complete it. It's a really quick process. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes. I'm going to be honest, the average student tells us it probably takes closer to 7 to 8 minutes for them to complete. We're not asking for a lot of information up front. You're just providing more personable information that we're collecting from you. So if you haven't, as soon as you get off this call, take that 5 to 10 minutes to go in and complete your application. Once our application closes, which is on December the 1st, on the 9th, we will then announce our top semifinalists, which will be about 1,700 students who become semifinalists. Then you're going to have some additional information you have to provide at that time, which will be your essays and some additional application material that you'll have to provide us with, your transcript, your SAR, and just keep in mind that your transcript does not have to be official. It can be an unofficial transcript. Then on January the 27th, semifinalists closes, and then on March the 16th, we announce our new class. And I just want to emphasize that our Dell scholars graduate 2 times the national average of students and their peers. So this is a really good program that offers more than just like a check and a lot of wraparound support. And so we want to share a quick video with you about one of our recent Dell Scholars.
Sometimes running through life, I feel like you're going to encounter paths that are going to be smooth, well-lit, and other points in life, you're going to find paths that are going to be rugged and unfamiliar territory. I've always felt that I had the responsibility as the oldest child in my family to help my parents in any way I could. They sacrificed so much in their life to put me in the position where I am in today. I never looked at college to be really as a path I would take. I didn't think it was fit for me, and I didn't think it would actually have a better outcome for myself or my family. It wasn't until my teachers, my counselor, influenced me to think outside of the box. So that's specifically when I started looking into scholarships. My counselor recommended the Dell Scholars because she said, hey, it's a really good scholarship. They help you out not only financially, but they help you out in the long term. And in my head, I was kind of like, well, I mean, sure, but there's a lot of other good students. What makes me stand out? My counselor told me, you should still try. Have some faith in yourself. Once I got the Dell Scholarship, I was excited and motivated to go into college and finish. After graduating, I was extremely motivated to go out, start building my career, and taking that next leap into my future. Working as a cybersecurity consultant, I get to work with people not only in the United States, but I get to work with people across Latin America. I get to help people that I feel I have a personal connection with. My overall goal when going to college was not only to achieve a higher education, but to actually be able to provide for my family and give back to them. Now, after graduating college with the career that I have, I am able to confidently say that I can. I know the process for becoming a Dell Scholar can be hard, but it's something that will change your life entirely.
So thank you, Cindy. So just one last reminder that just to applications are due by December the 1st. We currently do not offer extensions, so you would want to make sure that you do fully get your application completed by that date.
Thank you, Sonia. That information was really helpful. I know many students out there are wondering what it's like to be a Dell Scholar, so I'd like to have Harold tell us more about his experience. Harold, can you tell us a little more about yourself and how being a Dell Scholar has impacted your college journey?
Yes, Cindy. Thank you, everyone. Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Harold, and I am originally from Tulare, California, a small town in Central California. And right now, I am currently a fourth year at the University of California, Davis, where I am majoring in sexuality studies and neuroscience. So a little bit about myself. I'm a first-generation low-income student from a small town, and I am set to graduate in June 2023. Where I would be taking a gap year before applying to medical school, as I want to take a break from school, just like enjoy traveling and working. So I'm a Dell Scholar class of 2019. I applied for cycle of 2018, and the application has changed a bit. So when I applied back in 2018, I remember that the application was a bit lengthy nowadays, but now it gotten shorter where we had to update, like adding transcripts, adding our personal information, and like the short answer questions. That was what took up majority of like my time applying for the application, because that's where most of it went to, was making sure that everything was being said in the little short answer responses. And when that happened, it was just having someone to reread and have someone to go over the personal statements, because you can have personal statements, but you just want to have them tailored to what the question is asking, because that is something often that people miss when applying, is that they don't fully answer every part of the question because they only have one part and not the second part. So I would like to reiterate that. But when I did apply, it was great because my AVID teacher, Miss Lopez, encouraged me to apply, and along with our other classmates. So we were all working on it. Everyone was helping each other, looking over their information, which made the application process seem a lot smoother, you know, especially with college applications around the corner and then scholarships. Like, it can be overwhelming. Like, I've definitely been there, but it's just about like time management and having everything organized, ready to go. Like working on it like on a certain day and then having it like reread and having made corrections done so that it can be a polished perfect. And then, so basically, whenever I was doing it, you want to have someone that you can trust that will speak on your behalf when it comes to like letters of recommendations. I remember I got my counselor, Ms. Prado, and you just want to have someone that you have a relationship that can speak like highly on behalf of you and will go through the process with you, you know, working on the application together. That is something that I highly recommend, because I wouldn't have done the application by myself had I not had my teacher and my counselor like with me, like through the journey of applying. And another thing is, whenever you are doing your application, to be authentic, but also to highlight your strengths in the short answer questions, because that is something that the readers like, is when you are standing out from the rest of the applicants, whether you were president of a club, you volunteered, you were doing clubs, and just having like just a well-rounded applicant. But most importantly is to like really narrate what you can bring to the Dell team. And then this was done by having someone that can vouch for you and going over your application. And then Dell has definitely made my college experience a lot smoother, especially like transitioning. For the aspect of Chegg, they definitely made me like save a lot of money, especially when it comes to textbooks. Like, they're expensive, especially for like classes that are like required readings, but having Chegg like on the side like really just like offsets the balance where you can get your textbooks for free and just having like tutors like on there to help you, which is really amazing. And also for like their telehealth counseling service, it definitely made transitioning from pre-pandemic to pandemic wise. Like I was on Zoom most of the time, and like it took a toll on my mental health, but having someone to like, help me like counseling with like moving from Zoom university to fully in person definitely made it easier, like on my mental health, especially like with everything going on, like the past 2 years, it can be exhausting, like just fully transitioning, even now, just getting adjusted to it. But like I said, like Dell is more than a check. So this summer, Dell helped me fund my summer abroad trip where I was in Cusco, Peru, working with low-income families to help get medical services and medication. So if you're thinking about going abroad, Dell is definitely a great way, as they can help you and support your dreams because they really care about what you want to do about your career and moving forward. Like I wasn't able to go abroad just by myself. Like I had like that team like helping me, making sure that my application for going to Peru was set and just having them like on my side. And that's where I was truly like invested, because it's not only like a check you're getting, it's also a support system from the people that are really care about you and what you want to do like post graduation, which made it just seem so amazing. But for the application now, I do know that they did shorten it. So for that, like it really better, as you don't have to like take a couple hours to work on it, as that comes like later on during it. Yeah, so that's mostly about me, and I will be passing it on back to Cindy.
Thank you so much for sharing more about your Dell Scholars experience, Harold, and for sharing that advice too. I know our students out there really appreciate it. So now we'd like to give you the opportunity to ask questions you may have about the Dell Scholars program, whether it's about the application process itself or whether it's about being a Dell Scholar. So please continue to add your questions to the chat, though we will most likely not be able to answer all the questions that come in today. We will send out responses to those questions in an email if we didn't get to them. So be on the lookout for that. And I wanted to get us started with our first question, which is, what has been your favorite part about college?
Hi. So my favorite part about college was definitely the independence that I got from coming here. I grew up in a close-knit family, Latino family, and where family is everything, you're expected to stay. But with college, I was on my own, 4 hours away from home, just navigating college like on my own and just getting that independence of being in a new city and just exploring what you want to do without like having others to influence you is really amazing. So my favorite part was definitely the independence and just going away from home.
Thank you for that. And we have a question. How has AVID helped you get ready for college?
Okay, so I did AVID for 4 years, and AVID definitely helped me with my time management skills, where back then I didn't really take it seriously. But like being a full-time college student, it's like no joke. So just having a calendar and a planner, that really like gets me through as I check it off on my calendar and iPad just to see what I have done, the time management. And not only that, it really just gives you like the confidence to go to office hours and just show up. Like you have to be vulnerable to ask for help. And that's like something that a lot of college students don't like doing. But I really say just putting yourself out there to get help when you need it is definitely the way to go, especially with academics, as it's very easy to fall behind.
Awesome. Thank you, Harold. And this question's, I think, more for Sonia. Is this only available for AVID students?
No, we actually have a list of about 30 approved college readiness programs. So if you go out to our website, dellscholars.org, or apply at dellscholars.org, you can click on CRPs and it's going to show you a list of all of the CRPs. There's quite a few CRPs, but just to name a few: Breakthrough, Uplift, the TRIO programs, are some of the other organizations that can apply for the scholarship.
Thank you, Sonia.
You're welcome.
And Harold, we have a question here. What is the hardest part of college?
Okay, so the hardest part about college is definitely maintaining your social life along with like sleep and academics, as like, you enter a new area and you just want to be everywhere all at once. And it's just, you need to prioritize your time. Like I said, time management. It's like your campus has a lot of events going on. So it's very tempting to just skip class and just go to those events. But you really have to prioritize your time because it's easy to fall behind, especially like if you're on a quarter system like me, it's very fast paced where you can't afford to like skip class and go out like all the time. But time management is definitely has helped me because that is like one of the hardest things is just keeping that balance. And like, especially with extracurriculars, I'm part of a student run clinic and I'm busy and I'm also like a tutor for middle school and just working. So like definitely time management has definitely been like the hardest, but it's well-rounded and doable.
Thank you for that. That's great news to hear because I know time management is a big focus in AVID. So I think a lot of our AVID students will be very prepared to handle that challenge. So another question we have is college different than you expected? And if so, how?
I would have to, from my experience, I would definitely say that it is different because, you go to high school where, you have someone doing your schedule, you don't have to worry about that. And, you have someone to like hold your hand along the way. But in college, so how my college is there's like no one to like do that for you. You kind of just get a pastime for your classes depending on your major. So like it's up to you to like register for your classes and like even if you don't even get in, like you have to wait till like the next quarter to get in as class is very limited. So there is that aspect of it's the independence, but like you have to be on top of it. And not only that, it's like what is great about college, everyone, is you get to pick your schedule. You don't want 8 a.m.s, pick a 4 p.m. You don't want a 4 p.m., pick a 10 a.m. And like it's just the liberty and flexibility that college gives you, which I really enjoyed because waking up like 7:30 going to school at 8 a.m. like it gets tiring. But in college, if you don't like 8 a.m.s, you can like pick your schedule and your time on like what your needs want, which is great. And I really love that.
Thank you. Sounds like there's a lot of choice and you are able to do choose your own adventure with your with your schedule. So that's really great. So we have a question from the chat, and I think this is more of a question for Sonia. Will I still qualify if I go to a community college for 2 years first and then transfer?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do understand that there are going to be circumstances on why students will choose to go to a 2-year and transition over into a 4-year college. Staff will work directly with you to ensure that you do have a transfer plan and that you do meet all of the qualifications for transferring. So we will, there may be some additional special requirements or documentation for that, but yes, we do allow students for various reasons to start at a 2-year and transfer to a 4-year.
Thank you. So, and our next question, do you have to renew the scholarship every year?
Yeah. So once you're a Dell Scholar, you're always a Dell Scholar. You don't have to renew for as far as funding. You're going to be able to keep your funding, which is divided at about $5,000 or contingent upon your financial aid package. It could fluctuate. But no, you don't have to necessarily renew to still be a scholar, but you do have to do what we call a renewal process and a check-in at the end of every term, where you're just letting us know how the academic year went, if there's anything additional that we can support you with, and if you have like any financial situations or anything that we can support you through. So those are required, and you have to complete those in order for us to release your funds for the next term, but it does not prevent you from not being a Dell Scholar. So there are some requirements, but once you're a Dell Scholar, you remain a Dell Scholar. We even have an alumni program.
Wonderful. Sounds like a great network. So our next question, if you live in a dorm room, how has dorm life been for you?
Okay, so the way that my university does it, it's single, double, triple, which triple being the cheapest and single being the most expensive. I lived in a double, just for sharing purposes, But dorm life, it's pretty fun. It's very great to establish like early connections, like early on, especially like those relationships with like people, because it's always, everyone is always studying, everyone is always so welcoming. So like if you're in a class, there's more than likely someone else in your dorm floor that is in the same class. And it's just a very easy place to be sociable and make friends, especially like forming study groups around that time, especially when it comes to like midterms and finals. It's like just have random groups like everywhere, like laid out. And it's just like everyone is always studying. So it's very easy to find people that like you can be friends with and just be approachable when it comes to like studying. But dorm life, there's a lot going on, like, you know, social life and extracurriculars. So it's definitely a great place to meet people. I met some of my best friends like in the dorm studying lounge, always studying for chemistry.
That sounds really, really awesome. Lots of fun things, lots of opportunities with dorm life. Thank you, Harold. Next question is, can students who are undocumented apply to be a Dell Scholar? Sonia, are you able to help with this question?
So as far as that goes, it's case by case and it depends. So it's hard for me to say yes or no, because it depends on each student individual situation. If you're eligible to apply for FAFSA, then you can apply for our scholarship, because we do use the FAFSA guidelines for our scholarship. So it just depends, and every student is different. So you would just need to see if you could qualify to apply there, and then from there. But we do have some students that were undocumented that did apply, but again, they met the requirements for FAFSA. So that's going to be the difference between applying.
Thank you, Sonia.
You're welcome.
Our next question, do the scholarship recipients have to enroll in certain schools that the Dell Foundation chooses?
Oh, that's one thing I love about our scholarship, is the flexibility of our scholarship. No, you absolutely do not. As long as it is in the United States, so a US school, you can attend any campus across the US. So currently we have students at about 500 different campuses across the US. So we are flexible in whichever school you choose to go to, as long as you are pursuing a bachelor's degree, and you are unable to attend like trade schools. It has to be an accredited campus.
Wonderful. So 500 campuses, that's a big network. That's really great. So we got a question in the chat. How is student life at your college, and what are the traditions?
So student life here at UC Davis, we're in California. It's like a little small agriculture town, but like around us, we have Sacramento and San Francisco. So, you know, when midterms are done, you know, just like to go out and SF. But student life here, there's always orgs, like, you know, at the MU, like tabling, you know, like having socials and events and flyers, especially like mixers. So when you go, there's always like something going on for like different clubs and organizations where you can meet people, and like they do go to like event trips, which is like if you join. But also like here, like the sports are pretty big too, I would say. Me personally, I'm not really a fan of sports, so it's like, okay. But no, the sports definitely, especially like the tailgates, like, you know, when they happen for like football games, that is something a lot of people go to. Like the mini concerts that the school provides, people really enjoy those too. Those are fun. I went to some before.
Thank you, Harold. Sounds like you're taking advantage of a lot of different fun opportunities. That's great. It's
Yeah,
a
it's like
big part of college.
you need to keep the balance between like academics and like social life, because you can't have one without the other. And like that's really important too, as you don't want to like burn out, as like that's very common. So like just finding your own balance like will really get you through it.
Thank you. Well, I think that was actually our last question. I thought we'd have time for one more, but the time goes so quickly. So we're at time for today. Thank you for these great questions, and thank you for joining us. And thank you to our co-hosts, Sonia and Harold. Before we wrap up today, I wanted to let you know that the Michael and Susan Dell Foundation is hosting a pizza party competition drawing to encourage more Dell Scholar applicants. The foundation is going to provide $500 per school towards a pizza party for AVID elective classes at up to 10 schools. So for more information, please see the details included in the chat. And thank you for joining us today. And remember, the application closes on December 1st. Good luck. And if you have questions, please visit the Dell Scholar FAQ page or reach out to the Dell Scholars team by emailing apply@dellscholars.org. Thank you.
Good luck, everyone. Rooting for y'all.
Thank you, everyone. Make sure you go complete your application right now if you haven't. Have a great day.